Hi, it's me, Sarah from Sew Sarah Style. Welcome back. It is the return of the fantastic Sew Frugal Challenge, and I'm here to share with you some of my ideas. Sew Frugal 23, I can't tell you how excited I am. I've taken part in this for the last 2 years as a sewer, and I can't believe this year that I'm also taking part as a vlogger. So as always, I have tons of ideas to share with you. So I'll be getting to those in a minute. Just for those of you who don't know, obviously the challenge is run by the fantastic Sam from Frugalissima and Ruan of the Yorkshire Sew Girl. They run the challenge every year, and the idea is really quite simple. It's to use a free to everybody pattern. It needs to be free for everyone to be able to download. I think the idea really is to be able to share different patterns around so everybody gets a chance to be able to use them and make them up. You need to use fabric from your stash, and also you make it up during the month of March and then share it on the hashtag Sew Frugal 23 on the 31st of March. It is so much fun on that day just to see all the makes coming up, one after the other, what they've made it from, how they got on with it. It's just such a lovely community challenge. I'm lucky enough today to be sharing this day with Sam from Frugalissima. So she's also obviously got a video out today. So I won't tell you to go and look at hers because I'm sure you've looked at hers before, way before mine. But I feel very honoured to be sharing today with Sam. In the meantime, I will get on with my plans and then put any pattern information either on the screen or in the description box below. For the very first Sew Frugal challenge, I made what I'm wearing now, which is the Lunaria dress from Mood Pattern Society. It's a shirt dress with a bow and sort of a mandarin collar, and it's got a shirt style hem, shirt dress hem. So absolutely love this pattern. It's got some incredible details for a free pattern. It's brilliant, and actually the instructions are sort of part of a blog post, but I managed to follow them without too much trouble. And I think possibly I may have gone to Professor Pincushion just to get some. I always go to them. I think they do brilliant tutorials to get a little bit more information on how to put the collar together. But yeah, all came together beautifully. So that's the Lunaria dress from Mood Patterns. Behind me, my friend is wearing half of the entry for last year's Sew Frugal, which I actually combined with the Sew Recreate the Look challenge. They were both during the month of March, and I used free patterns to recreate the look that I was going for. So it was an Alexander McQueen dress. The pattern then that I used was the Barcelona dress and top from, I think it's marijediy. The skirt pattern that I did actually use was the Kathryn Skirt from Tianas Closet. She is on Instagram and Facebook, and I would highly recommend that you head over there and have a look at her pattern selection, because she just has so many beautiful ones. It's really hard to choose. So talking of Tianas Closet, the first pattern that I want to share today is one of hers, and it's called the Jillian ruched front dress. I think it's a relatively recent release of hers, and it's just a really pretty dress. I think it's above the knee dress, but it's got this very clever ruching down the front, which I think she describes actually as being quite flattering if you want to cover a bit of a tummy or anything like that. It just softens the front of the dress. It's actually meant for wovens, but she's put on her website that you can use stretchy fabrics so long as they're not too stretchy. So with that in mind, I actually quite like to give it a go in a stretchy fabric. So I've got this jersey here, which doesn't look very exciting on camera. It's like a jersey crepe. It's not hugely stretchy. I mean, it does have a fair amount of stretch in it, but it's not really floppy. It's quite a thick jersey. So I think hopefully it's structured enough to hold the pleat detail. I definitely would, for the first one at least, make this dress in a plain fabric. So I've got that jersey crepe. I have this one as well, which I think might make quite a nice sort of camel coloured dress. This is a ponte, so again, it's got a little bit of structure and not too much stretch. It's not too floppy. The third option I have is this, which is a scuba. I don't really tend to buy scubas much anymore. This is an old scuba that's been with me for quite some time. Fairly stretchy, but again, it's not too floppy. It's got some thickness to it, and I do quite like that colour. It's like a tealy blue, so that might be quite nice in it. I think with a pair of trainers on in the summer, I think that might be quite a cute dress, and it's just a little bit different. Another Tianas Closet pattern that I'm really keen to get made up is the Karyn ruffle detail top, which is it's obviously a short sleeve top with ruffle around the neck and the sleeves. It's got a keyhole detail at the back as well, and it fastens with a button. I think that really would be something to make nearer to the summer, but it really reminds me, it made me remember a top that I had pinned ages ago, and I really can't find it now. I'm not sure where it was from, but it's a t-shirt, sort of long or 3/4 length t-shirt with a cotton ruffle around the neck. So I think I might try and do a bit of pattern mashup hack, probably a bit of a bodge between the Karyn ruffle detail top and a free t-shirt pattern. The t-shirt pattern that I've chosen for this is the Closet Core t-shirt. It looks like a beautifully fitted t-shirt. It's got a high enough neck as well for what I want, and it also has 3/4 sleeves. So I think what I've got is this fabric here, which is a fairly good quality. It's like a fairly thin cotton jersey. It's like a t-shirt. It's a heavy t-shirt weight actually, but I've got a fair amount of this, so would make a t-shirt out of this and then add some of this beauty around the neck, which I bought ages ago thinking, well, I love it, I'm not really sure what to do with it because it is quite girly and pretty. I've got a fair amount of it, so I've still got enough to put on the bottom of a skirt or sleeves or whatever I fancy, but I like the idea of making a t-shirt with a kind of a ruffly thing around the neck of that. I don't know. We'll see. As I say, again, only one way to find out whether it works or not. We shall give it a go. So that's the plan. That's the mashup of the Closet Core t-shirt and the Tianas Closet Karyn ruffle sleeve top. Let's just see what we get from that one. So I am actually really keen to make that, and I think that's quite appropriate for this time of year. It's got sleeves. It's nice and casual, but it's hopefully got that little bit of added zhuzh. I've been looking for a shirt dress pattern for a while now with a short placket as opposed to fully opening all the way down. And as luck would have it, there's a free pattern around. It's by Made by Oranges. I think it's a Dutch pattern company, and it's called the Martha Blouse, which looks fantastic. It looks like a really nice, relatively slim fitting shape. Short placket, normal collar, and it's got cuffs and a really nice shirt tail hem, which looks fabulous. Actually, I can't quite believe it's a free pattern. You could just use some gorgeous floaty viscose or crepe, maybe size up a little bit to make it looser, floating around in Saint-Tropez or wherever you are. I just think this is such a beautiful pattern, so really am quite keen to get this one tried as well. The fabrics that I have for this are, I showed this in my last vlog and said I wasn't in any rush to get it made up, but actually I think a shirt dress in this would be lovely. In fact, I was talking about a shirt dress in my last vlog, and since then obviously I've discovered this gorgeous pattern, the Made by Oranges pattern, so it could be made out of that, which is a cotton sateen, or I do have this fabric here, which I think again would make a really lovely shirt dress. This is an old, it's either a tablecloth or a duvet. I think it might have been from Zara or H&M a while back, I can't remember. I have made a dress out of it and really loved it. But what I think is good about this pattern, sewing pattern, is that if you've got fabric like this, which has got quite a big busy print on it, you don't have to worry too much about pattern matching, because obviously the front of it because it's only a half a placket is cut out as one anyway, so I don't that there isn't a centre seam up. You won't need to worry about matching any patterns, so I think that could be quite a nice contender. Again, that's a lovely soft cotton, so that's the Martha blouse made by Oranges. I have already downloaded that, and at some point definitely want to make it. Another free pattern is from a pattern company which I absolutely love. It's called Sewing and the City. Christine from Sewing and the City actually has a free pattern as well called the Manhattan Top and Dress. And if you still love a big sleeve like I do, you'll be interested in this one, I'm sure. It's a raglan sleeve top or dress. Really, really simple shape, but it's got these beautiful sleeves, and the sleeves are pleated at the top and then they come down into sort of a poof, which is then attached, I think, to a lining and stitched underneath. From what I can understand, I may be wrong, but that just creates the poofiness. So there's no elastic or anything down here. It's all made in one. I really would like to try and make one of those. I have had this fabric for a while in my stash, bought it for another project, but it didn't get made up. I wanted a simple, straightforward shape, a bit like the Manhattan top, in order to show it off to its best advantage. It is this, the fabulous Marcos print on Stitch Fabrics. This is a viscose twill. It's actually got quite a bit of weight to it. It's quite heavy, but I think the reason that it will work in the Manhattan is that it's just straight, simple here with the puff sleeves. I think the Mad print and the Mad sleeves will make for a really, really gorgeous dress. While we're on the subject of freebies, Christine is running a Thread Your Serger challenge, which is a free 4-day challenge on the 22nd to the 25th of April, and it's full of tips on how to thread and change the settings on your serger or overlock it if you're a bit nervous about that. So if you're anything like me, as I've said before, I actually choose and plan my projects around what colour thread I happen to have on my serger. So I think it's about time I learned how to thread it, hopefully without too much problem. So that's just another thing I thought I'd throw in there. And now onto jackets. I've got a couple of thoughts about jackets that I'd like to make with free patterns. One of my favourite places to look for free patterns is the fabricsstore.com. It's a New Zealand company, and they make some beautiful linens, and they have free patterns to go along with those fabrics. They've got all manner. They've got a huge range: dresses, shirts, trousers, jackets, you name it. And last year, I can't remember why I did it actually, but I have a toile that I made for their Nino open front jacket, which I'll show you, which is a minimalist jacket, sort of kimono style. And I made it here. I'll put a picture in as well. This is it, grown on sleeves, kimono style neckband. But the most amazing part of it really is these incredibly clever pockets. I can't even remember how I put them together. It's part of the side seam, it's also part of the front band, and it's part of the bottom hem. So I can't remember how to construct it, but go along, have a go for yourself if you fancy just a really simple, easy jacket to sort of throw on with jeans. I actually made mine with a belt as well, so I've got the option of wearing it with that. But I would highly recommend the Nino. If you're a beginner maybe in making jackets, that would be a really good one to do, because it's all beautifully finished and it comes together really easily. So that's brilliant. This year I am thinking about making a chore jacket, sort of a French chore jacket. And as luck would have it, there is a free one. It's called the Paola Workwear Jacket on fabricsstore.com. There's absolutely loads of them being made up on Instagram, so there's loads of inspiration to go and have a look there. So I'm really hoping to be able to make one of those up. Again, I will make a toile first just to get the fit right and everything else. And the fabric that I want to use for that is probably one of my oldest stash fabrics. It's a little bit random, so bear with me. But I bought it years ago, and it's actually an upholstery fabric, and I just loved it. Never really knew what to do with it, but I think it's going to come into its own now. It's a French inspired fabric. To me, it's got carousels on. What could be more French? And it's just, I just love the pattern. Oh, now that's no good because I've just held it upside down, haven't I? Hang on, let's get to the other end. There's 5 meters of it. So if I can just get to the other end and show you the right way round, that would probably be more helpful, wouldn't it? So there we go. So you can see the carousel there. It's very antique-y. Some people might think it's slightly creepy, but I think it's lovely. I love the colours, and it works on the back as well. So it's one of those which you could possibly use, I don't know really, you could use both sides if you wanted to. So I have got some buttons which I think may work with it. And just put that on there. Just a simple grey button there, which I think might work. As I say, it's just for a 12 for now, but I have a feeling that I might actually quite like it. I don't know about pattern matching or anything, but I will have a go at making the Paola workwear jacket in that and see how that turns out. So if that's a success, I might just keep it at that. The other option I have is, this is more of a traditional workwear jacket. This is a taupe cotton twill. This was from Pound Fabrics. Really lovely canvas, a drill twill. I'm not quite sure what the difference is really. It's one of those two, but it's nicely structured, and I think that would make a really nice workwear chore jacket. And I have the most stunning buttons to go with this from Pigeon Wishes, which are these here, which I don't think it could be any better, to be honest. I'll take one of those off to show you. I think those would be really, really nice with it. You can see that. So that's a plan, 1 or 2 chore jackets. I'm not sure, as always, depending on time, whether I can make 1 or 2, but definitely I will be practicing in the first one and then hopefully getting one made up in this as well. So the final idea that I have is to make the Peppermint robe jacket by Common Stitch Patterns. It's an Australian pattern company, and it's available on the Peppermint magazine website. The idea with Peppermint magazine is that that you basically pay what you can afford. So they give you the option of what works for you. You can choose how much or how little you want to pay. I love this pattern. It's a casual robe, but the decision to make that was dictated to really with the fabric that I had. I bought this fabric from a lovely company which sadly had to close down at the end of last year. It was called Birdsong, which was a small independent ethical clothing brand. They had fabrics for sale as well, and they used to obviously make stuff up in those fabrics, clothing up in those fabrics. And I saw a picture of this fabric, which is organic river print denim, made up in a similar kimono jacket. Just thought it was absolutely beautiful. When I saw the Peppermint robe pattern, I thought, well, that's a match made in heaven, those two. So it might well be that this gets made up, hopefully this month, maybe not, I don't know. As I say, I've got so many patterns, so many plans, so little time, but this is something that I definitely want to make up. And I think that pattern and this will just work really nicely together. So that's the Peppermint robe pattern. I've made stuff from Peppermint patterns before and absolutely loved it. I made the Peppermint pocket skirt a couple of times, which is just lovely. And I have got the wide leg trousers printed out, ready to go at some point if I ever get round to making those. But I'm a little bit scared, I don't mind admitting, of the fly front on those, so I keep putting that one off. I mean, this is a denim. This would work in theory really well with the wide leg trousers, but I think that might be a little bit wacky even for me. So I think I'll keep this one as the kimono jacket rather than the trousers. So yeah, that's the idea for this piece of fabric anyway. So those are my ideas for So Frugal, and I hope I've managed to inspire you with some ideas that you could perhaps use yourself. If nothing else, the thought that, you know, it is possible to grab 2 free patterns and mash them together. You don't need to take them individually, just take a bit of this and a bit of that, see what comes out. That's what I tend to do anyway, and that's certainly what I'll be having a go at this month. Hopefully I will have something to show you. Well, I will have something to show you on the 31st, that's for sure. My plan is also to do a bit of a makes video after the 31st, just to show you how I got on with some of my ideas. There's loads more vloggers obviously coming up after me. Be sure to watch Sloths and Orchids, and also the Carpe Diem Stitcher. I'm sure they'll be coming up with their own take and amazing plans for what they want to make for So Frugal as well. So in the meantime, you've got all those to keep you busy. Plenty of there's loads and loads of patterns out there to be searching through. Have an amazing month making up your garments with your free patterns from your stash, and I really cannot wait to see everything come together on the 31st of March. So have a great month. Take care. Bye.